What's up, Pure Fam? Corey Beth here. I'm coming at you tonight to tell you that it's all in your control. Now, kind of an oxymoron here because there are so few things in life that we actually have control over. I mean, that's just the truth. And I think in 2022, we realize that more now than ever. What's up? So good to see you here. I can't see who it is, but I see somebody's here. If you enable permissions, you'll actually be able to see me. I'll be able to see that it's you. It just says Facebook user. But I'm happy that you're here. For me and myself, I know that, you've heard probably bits and pieces of my story. I wanted to be able to come on and share a little bit more about it because for those of you who are either Sarah, new to the community, or you are, I don't know, just checking us out for the first time, or maybe you've been with us for 14 years. Yeah. Hey, Lauren. That's how long we've been around. We've had our physical studio for 14 years. I've been part of it for 12. Mike had it 2 years before me, so he got the jump ahead. I mean, he's 8.5 years my senior, so that makes sense. I was busy being a teacher. All of that said, I wanted to share with you some of the things that I went through because I feel like we see ourselves and other people's stories. So, story number 1. Always, I would say from 10th, 11th grade on in high school, struggled with my weight. Before that, I was actually underweight. I was 50 pounds in 6th grade. So I was like a little bitty, little like string bean. And I think like many people, we eat whatever the heck we want, magic shell, pour it on my ice cream, get to 10th grade. All of a sudden, I'm gaining 5 to 8 pounds a year in high school. No idea why. No doctor could figure out why. I'll tell you why. It was cookies and cakes and ice cream and treats every single night after dinner because I could. And I didn't play sports in high school. I was involved in student government and the spirit committee. I mean, is that shocking to you? And all of that stuff. And so I get to the end of senior year, I was a little bit bigger, but then I go away to college. Now, when I got to college, I'm going to date myself here. Facebook gets invented my sophomore year. And what is the first thing the boys at my college, because I was actually one of the first colleges to get onto Facebook, Marist College, for any of you that are local to New York. But we get to college, we get Facebook, and what do the guys do? They make one of the first Facebook groups. And do you want to know what it's called? Keep the girls away from the soft serve ice cream. That was the name of the group. And I was like, I think they're talking about me because in our cafeteria, we had a whole soft serve ice cream bar and you could go as many times as you wanted. It was unlimited whenever you wanted during the day. And if I wasn't buying Ben and Jerry's half-baked ice cream, just give me a shout in the comments if you also love that one. I would go over to the soft serve. So it was like ice cream, hard or soft were kind of like my options. And all of a sudden, 20 more pounds came on. Now, when I came back from break, okay, maybe you see yourself in this. I thought I was like hot. I get back, I see all my friends from high school, and all of a sudden, Joni likes half baked. We get the photos developed because, we had digital cameras back then and you didn't get to like instant the actual size of the photograph. And I go and get my digital photo film developed. And I'm looking at this picture going, oh my gosh, that's what I look like. You ever have that moment where you're like, oh my gosh, that's what I look like? And I'm not talking about like, oh, I look good. I'm talking about the, oh my gosh, let me know, OMG, if you can resonate with that. And then it was just confusion. I think I'm going to do this. And then I didn't do it. I think I'm going to try this Montefiore hospital diet where you eat grapefruit and hot dogs because I did that in high school and it worked and it didn't work. And then I was like, okay, my freshman year friend Katie did this watermelon diet. I'm going to do that. And we look at like all these, oh, shiny, oh, shiny, oh, shiny. What should I do? But there's never really a path that's laid out for you. Now, fast forward, have a friend. He's a personal trainer. He's like, oh, you got to eat lots of fruit and protein. And I was like, okay, I'll do whatever anybody tells me to do. And I feel like we go through our lives a lot of the time feeling like that. But through that process, that was just surface. Deep down on the inside, I did not want to get in bathing suits, dresses, go to events, be in pictures. I'd hide behind people. I hated the way that I looked. I was really embarrassed of the fact that my body looked the way it did. And the entire time it was like, it's not my fault. I eat healthy. I just read a study that said 90% of people overestimate how good their diet really is. Because when someone's asking us about our diet, what do we tell them? All the good stuff. right? When I talk to people initially, and I'm going to call everyone out right now because I used to do this too. What are you eating? Oh, I eat healthy. Okay, what do you eat? Chicken and vegetables and sweet potatoes. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense at all. You wonder why I have you clients send me photos of your food because then I'm like, that does not match up to the phone call because we forget. It's not on purpose, it's by accident, right? We're like, oh, yeah, like I forgot that I also have potato chips, fried chicken, fried plantains, and everything else that I eat. Totally forgot about that. Me too. So we have to be honest. So let's bring this all back. I looked not as good as I could have looked. Some people still look at those pictures and they're like, you were cute. No, I wasn't. Stop lying to me. But the more important thing was I felt horrible about myself. And when we're in that place, it's not a great place to be. Now, I had two paths. I had three paths I could have gone. The first path is I could have done nothing, right? I could have just sat on my butt and just kept on going. And I think about what that life would look like a lot. You ever do that? You think about what your life could look like. I honestly would have probably at that point, somebody that I had a relationship with, I would have moved down to Florida, become a teacher down there, never figured out my health and nutrition, and be a miserable teacher with irritable bowel syndrome that hated her life and job. I mean, I really that's what I envisioned for myself. So I could have done nothing. The other two paths that I had were, go and get answers from doctors. And this is where I want to be clear. I'm not ever here to give medical advice. This is not medical advice. But a practice is a practice because they practice. Okay. We just found out a month ago that chemical imbalances in the brain, that's not the reason for depression. That was the University College London came out with a study that were like, actually, our whole chemical imbalance theory that we've been following since like the 1950s, yeah, that's wrong. And I have a really good friend who's a therapist, and she's like, oh my gosh, she went to college for that. She recommended and prescribed things based on that. And she's like, that that's insane. She's like, that was like entire 4 years of college loans that I'm still paying off. And that's not even true. So I think that we have to put so much, just so much into that basket. Now, for me at that point in my life, 100% of it was in that basket. What can my doctor give me? I was getting steroid shots in my face for the acne. I was on all sorts of medications. I'm not going to repeat all that stuff. I was on a lot of medications. And if you're local, I was at the Bank Center for Dermatology in Mount Kisco. Now, I'm not going to knock them here because they were wonderful to me. But everything that they showed me did not work for me. Okay. Other people have had other experiences and for other things. You're going there for skin cancer or a mole. You need that. I was going for cystic hormonal acne that had nothing to do with my skin and everything to do with what I was putting in my body. So, different situation than what you may be seeing a dermatologist for. That said, all my eggs were in this basket. And after one thing didn't work, it was almost like my little brick, house of confidence tumbled. One brick tumbled. And then that medication didn't work. And another little brick tumbled. And then another little brick tumbled. And then the pills they gave me, well, that interfered with my birth control and I couldn't go in the sun and it also didn't work. So all of a sudden, this like very firm mountain of like, this is where I put my trust. White lab coat people are smarter than me, better than me. They know more than me. I have to trust them, right? Isn't that what we're all taught? And once those things started not working, I had a lot of questions. Now, again, somebody made a comment on one of my posts today, just saying like, it's not right, it's not wrong. At the end of the day, if what you're doing does not make you feel better within 30 to 90 days, it's probably not the right choice. Okay. Whether that is your gut health regimen that should be making you feel better within that 90-day window. I didn't say a week, and I definitely didn't say a day. I said 90 days. Think about pizza. How do you feel 90 minutes after pizza? Maybe you feel fine. Maybe you feel super bloated and super thirsty or just really tired, right? It's how things make us feel after that we really need to be focused on because it's so easy to be like, oh, that's delicious. I want to eat that. But how are you going to feel? So in this falling brick structure of this does not work, then there was this other path. And it's funny, someone else commented on this post. I went and saw a quack and I was like, yeah, that's pretty much. Now, I didn't actually go seek out the quack. In fact, the quack walked into one of our gyms and said, hey, you guys want to barter services? And I was like, well, what do you do? And when he started to explain some of the things, you know what? There was an openness to my mind because of what happened here that I was like, yeah, kind of like I'm desperate and I'll try anything at that point, you know? Another quack chiropractor, not a quack at all, by the way. Amazing. Who gets chiropractic here? Shout that out in the comments. My chiropractor, one I had since I was 8, who I still see today, and another I was going to bridal expos later, and that's who I sought out at a bridal expo. You know, when you're looking for something, you will find it. So instead of DJs and caterers, I found a chiropractor at my bridal expo. Fun times. So all of that, examining this other path, what I think the all-encompassing statement that I love by Marie Forleo is everything's figure outable. So the first thing that we have to do in this journey is we got to own what we're actually doing. And for me, having different people be like, stop eating crap. I mean, everybody's heard the story of my mom being like, are you sure you really want to eat that Nestle Toll House cookie? Are you sure you want to eat that? And I later found out she said it for a totally different reason, but it sat with me and I needed to hear that. And sometimes we have to have somebody be like, you are treating yourself like crap. Like you're staying up late, you're not sleeping, you're not drinking any water. Like, do you want to feel like crap? Because you're making yourself feel like crap. And then we have to be open to different solutions. Now, again, back to the medical, there may be been things in there that were right for a season, but we have to remember what's the philosophy. The philosophy is treat disease, treat disease, treat disease. That's different than build health. You guys understand like the difference? And that really is like the biggest thing to point out is, are you taking ownership? You know, if we go here, it is a treatment for a disease. Usually we're treating a symptom. And typically when we treat the symptom, we take something that ends up having other side effects and creates other symptoms, right? So it's this cascading effect that happens. And that's what was happening to me. Why am I tired? Why am I fatigued? Why am I falling asleep? Why don't I feel good? Why does my stomach hurt? I remember being doubled over in pain in Walmart once. I was shopping for stuff for college and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm in so much pain. You know, don't go to Dr. Google because it'll tell you you're going to die. In fact, it was a gas bubble. I mean, I didn't find out until much later. I'm like, oh my goodness, that was a gas bubble. So we have to be open to different solutions by owning what it is that we're actually doing. Now, what I would like to do at this time, I wish you guys were here with me, and I think you could get access to this. I think you had to click on it, but I think you're in the group right now. I can see your comments if you want to ask any questions about that. But in this being open to different solutions, I think you have to be clear. What do you want? Because you are in control. When we look at comorbidities for different reasons for death, when we look at different diseases, cardiovascular, you know what, like 70% of cardiovascular disease is preventable? 70%. I mean, that's insane. Why don't we talk about that? And that really grinds my gears because, I go down in my neighborhood to like our common area and there's someone down there I'm watching take their medication with soda. Why is his doctor not talking to him about that? And it's not my place to go over and be like, excuse me, sir, do you realize that you're actually, I'm not going to do that. Not who I am. But if he asks, yeah, I'm going to share that. And let's bring this back. What are you owning? What do you really want? And then what are you going to make yourself open to? Now, in making yourself open to these things, I'm going to wrap this up here in the next minute because I had that whole and then I had an ending and I don't know where it went. So I appreciate you just bearing with me here. Let me just have a sip of my protein shake because also this is my dinner. And I used to be shameful about this. Like, oh my gosh, like you have like eggs for dinner? Yeah, I do. You made a protein shake? Yeah, because I don't want to cook eggs. We have to find things that work. That's what it was. Hold on. We have, as a society, been trained to abuse food. It's just the truth, right? Everything's got to be a celebration around food. It's a treat. It's a reward. It's tasty. Our local ice cream shop has the Freak Shake, and it's like cookies and like brownies and molten. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's what we're celebrating. And that's fine. But as a society, we've glorified food to the point where we use it in the way it shouldn't be used. Wasn't it like Hippocrates that said that food is the most overutilized drug and the most underutilized medicine? I mean, I love that. It's an overutilized drug. Pretty much everything that we see in the supermarket. I mean, now you can not only just get pancakes in the freezer, you just put those puppies in the toaster oven and you got pancakes. You don't have to make them anymore. There's even pre-cooked bacon. You can get bacon that somebody already cooked for you. You know how many preservatives are in that? That's not normal, you know? So we've used this like glorification and convenience to actually totally degrade our food. To what end? Food is to feed you, right? That's why we take out the two O's in food and we put in two EEs, feed. Food is meant to feed you. It's meant to feed your body or fuel your body. But we use it for all these other purposes and we wonder why we end up not feeling great. So here are your two big takeaways tonight. Number one, what do you need to own, right? 3 takeaways. Number two, what do you need to be a little bit more open to? Because there's still people that are like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to take supplements. Are you serious? But you're going to take the medication your doctor gave you. And I'm not calling anybody out here tonight, but like, did you read the pamphlet of side effects? Have you ever seen the blanket pamphlet of side effects of birth control, by the way, that I was on and many other people here were on? It was just like, yeah, just take this. No one asks questions. I saw a funny meme and this girl was like, hold on, I just need to get my birth control side effect blanket. And she pulled up this huge piece of paper. Did you ever open that thing? My ortho tricycline load, this little like thing, and you start opening it, it's humongous. But people are like, oh, supplements, I don't know. What do you have to be open to? Okay. And then finally, how do you feel after you eat what you eat? So think, I also would love molten lava chocolate cake. You've heard that story. Maybe you haven't. I would love to eat that. But how am I going to feel in an hour? That really is the measure, guys. Right? That like whole, like if you're trying something, give it 90 days, see how you feel after 90 days. And that really will give you a good idea whether it's working or not for you. When it comes to food, give yourself an hour. If you eat, and this was me, late night, pretzels, peanut butter, a slice of pizza. I mean, that was college. How do you feel in an hour? For me personally, I felt more hungry, but like kind of full, but like I wasn't really sure. Kind of like I had to go to the bathroom, not to be gross, but true. And then like just like bloated. So like, is that good for me? And mentally just note that for yourself. Hey, that's probably not the best choice. Still, up until Mike and I getting married, I would still go back to that habit of staying up late. It's like the first 2 or 3 years of our marriage and eating peanut butter sticks, dip them in, pretzel sticks, dip them in peanut butter. And then I wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I feel terrible. Right. But for most people, they'd wake up that morning, they'd take their supplements and be like, supplements make me feel terrible. Are you serious? No, it was what you ate last night, you big dummy, you know? And I had to have myself and Mike point that out to me. Like, well, what did you, he's like, what is this pretzel bag? You know, no judgment, but like, what's a pretzel bag? And I was like, oh, that's what it was. So if you are one of our members or you're using our gut health supplement products, well, first of all, if you're not, like, I don't know what you're waiting for, but you have an amazing resource to you that I want to make sure that we get you in on. Okay. Let's go there in a second. If you're not, because this is also being dually broadcast into our fitness and nutrition group, there's an amazing resource tool. It's called the Pure Success Roadmap. So over here as a client, whether you've chosen to work with us with nutrition or you're using our Amari products consistently, those are our mental health products for your gut health that target your sleep, your energy, your mood, your inflammation, hormones, all of it. Our Pure Success Roadmap is a really amazing tool that explains a lot of that. If you are not a member and you're like, that sounds pretty amazing, you're going to talk to me about nutrition, my hormones, what food actually physically does in my body, and like all of this awesome stuff. Like, yeah, I think I would like that. You actually can purchase that. I can totally drop you a link for that. It's like a SelfServe do-it-yourself Pure Physique program because maybe, you know, you don't want me and that's fine. You can do that. Or if you want to work with us, like you also have that opportunity. We're accepting good people that want to work hard. Don't come here and expect us to do the work for you. Just being honest. Okay. No questions. We're at the end of this. I'm going to enjoy this. It's a salted caramel chickpea protein shake. Now, for me, it's got to taste good and not be gritty, but also it's not got to bloat me because, you know, my history is I just get bloated and I would never understand why I walked around 5 to 6 months bloated, like 5 to 6 months pregnant bloated is kind of what I felt like. And again, it was pointing out my extra caramel macchiatos from Starbucks. Who does that? Why extra? Everything was extra. We really have to stop abusing food as a drug because we use it when we're happy, sad, celebrating, rewarding ourselves. And my favorite line, I heard a very long time ago. I wish I could give credit to the person I heard it from. They probably heard it from someone else though, but it's, you are not a dog. Do not reward yourself with food. Food is to feed us. Food is fuel. And on occasion, we have a celebration or we share in sympathy in loss. I mean, that's part of life. It's the constant, like, let's celebrate tonight. We got our lawn cut. Let's celebrate again. You got a good grade. Let's go get ice cream. That's never what it was meant to be. I recently, last thing I'll say, I recently saw a picture of swimmers in the 70s, the 1970s. And you look at this picture, and I'm just going to say this, he'll laugh later, but everybody in this picture looks like Sarah, Caitlin, Jackie, Rachel, to like, hold on, who am I not? I'm not like Heidi, Deneen, Christy, like fit. And then also like Mike, Luke, Doug, Leo, Joe. Like you look at this picture and I'm like, oh my gosh, like everybody's in shape. Every single person is in shape in this picture. What was different? We placed our focus in different places. I mean, we weren't constantly like, and I'm guilty of that also. But we didn't have all these choices. You didn't go to the store and be like, potato chips, 5 million choices. Do I want barbecue flavored, campfire flavored, smoked flavored, pigtail flavored? I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. And there's a lot of money to be made from the food industry. And you realize, politically and monetarily, the food industry is in bed with the pharmaceutical industry because one feeds the other. I mean, follow the money, friends. You can look all that up of who sponsors which health, incentives and, marketing campaigns. I'm going down a rabbit hole here, but they didn't have all that. And you look at this picture and everybody looked fit. There's not a single person that stood out. So what are we doing that's different? And maybe that's the question that you get to ponder now is what is so different about our society 50 years later that this is such a big problem that so many people are sick, dying, cancer, stroke. I mean, look around. I can count literally on two hands the number of people recently that, it almost doesn't make sense. So what is so different about our world and our society? And more importantly, the way that we're treating our bodies. Okay. Final thought. How are you treating your body? How should you be treating your body? How do you want to treat your body? How would you want someone else to treat your body? Because when I found out that the medication I was given for my irritable bowel syndrome that was approved, totally approved, was then pulled back off the shelves and recalled because it was creating heart attacks in people, I felt like somebody violated my body. And I was really upset about that. And that was the first step for me in a lot of steps of realizing that I need to treat my body better. So really, whatever it is that you're eating or drinking or doing, give yourself an hour and say, how did that make me feel? How is my energy? How's my bloat or inflammation? Like, how do I feel in my body right now? And if it's not good, that is a big warning light on your dashboard of your body that says, stop doing that. You are in control. You do have control. 70% of cardiac events are preventable. You have control over that. Are you taking the control? So that's my message of love to you because I care about you. I want to see you accomplish great things, live a long life, but live it healthfully. Not live it not being able to do things, but live it healthfully. You deserve that. You agree? So if you haven't gotten that tool, let me know. If you have questions about gut health, talk to your trainer. We got you covered. Good stuff out there. And if you have any questions, as always, please drop them in the comments. Have an awesome night, you guys. You have the control.